What I want to talk about today, as the slide says, is really about ethics in innovation. We have lots of innovation. Innovation is happening all of the time. However, we're getting to a stage where, I'll go back to this, we have technology that's starting to perhaps become a bit of a concern. Just recently in Davos, so just last week, which is quite fortunate in terms of when I'm doing this talk, Theresa May announced that there needs to be an ethics committee in relation to the development of AI, because AI is everywhere. If you watch the news, if you watch if you listen to the radio, the AI coming into businesses and replacing human beings is really a hot topic, as it's ever been, but it's becoming very much to the fore. Also, very recently, there was an investigation was called for into the addictiveness of iPhones. iPhones and other smartphones, you may well have noticed in your lives, when you look around, look to me as if they're becoming addictive in their usage. So these things are areas of concern. So really what I want to talk about is bringing in an investigation into the ethics of what it is that we produce, in terms of what are we actually putting out there, how are we affecting human beings that use them. So initially for artificial intelligence, the worry has always been that when you create AI, eventually it's going to come into the workplace and it's going to start replacing people who traditionally would be working in these jobs. So with these, this will be disseminated to everyone anyway, so they can have a read and have a look. But it does stand to replace some of the low-skilled jobs. Not in terms of AI, but certainly in the car industry. Obviously, that very early on, we've got the idea where we've got robots building and we've got robots painting them. There's all sorts of things. They're not so much on the AI side of things, but they're certainly there. Also, we've got the idea of the driverless vehicle. That's something that's going to start coming in the 2020s. It is hoped, it is suspected. And this means that we can have self-driving lorries. Okay, so how does that affect the driver, the traditional driving job? There's all sorts of areas where AI can do, arguably, a better job than a human being when looked at from a business perspective, and also potentially safer. Okay, so the area here is, the area of concern is that when this artificial intelligence comes in and takes over these low-skilled jobs, lower and mid-skilled jobs, what are we going to do with the people that would ordinarily fill them? Okay, higher-skilled jobs, are they safe? Well, in 2017, it was March 2017, 34 insurance company workers in Japan were replaced by software that was deemed to do their job more accurately. So this is typically what an insurance worker would do. Look at evidence, look at images, look at text, and then base an insurance payout decision based on the information that they need to process. So this company, mentioned in this article there, 34 human insurance workers were laid off because of this new development in software. Okay, so the one spend out with software, that was deemed to be cheaper than paying individuals year on year. Okay, so certainly it's starting to impact. Okay, and also this means that we need to look at how the economy works. The world really needs to look at how the economy works. How are we going to handle the economics of a world of work impacted by AI? Are there going to be people just simply out of work? Are there going to be new job roles? Because the argument for this is, well, people won't be out of work. There will be new job roles created, unimagined, as yet unimagined. Sounds a bit pie in the sky, but certainly that will happen. But will there be enough to fill. You know, that has happened in history. There has been new job roles created by new technology all the time. However, you know, is it going to replace it for everybody? Also, the big question, are creative jobs safe from AI? Okay, so the thing is, AI seems to be not very sort of creative in terms about what a human can do, in terms of creatively attached things that you wouldn't ordinarily bring together. But is that going to stay the same? Is development with AI, is that going to help AI to become more creative? I don't know. Would you want to read a novel by an AI agent? I don't know. Would they have any experience? You know, maybe not. Who knows? But can AI be more creative? Okay. So yeah, the as yet unimagined jobs, can they fill the gap? The idea of the leisure time. Will there be more leisure time? We've been saying this since the 1960s. Oh yes, everything will be more automated. There'll be far more leisure time. But we know that reality is not the case. There's far more things to do. People are working around the clock. So this is why I'd make a projection, is that probably there won't be as much leisure time, perhaps. Also, there's this thing, mental health. Now, depression and mental health issues are on the up. We need to really look at how contribution impacts mental health in society. So, if people cannot contribute, it's all very well if we have this great utopia where AI takes care of just about everything. You know, even flying out planes, running out hotels, whatever it is, let's go out there, really throw stuff out there. Does that mean that people are just, well, I'm not doing anything with my life now, I feel like I'm, you know, not satisfied in any way. So people, what they want to work, they want to contribute. And if there's ways that AI is getting in the way of contribution, then that's perhaps going to be a problem. And this thing is, that it's always about the bottom line. Profitability in business is always about the bottom line. So we need to look at new ways of doing things. It can't always be about the bottom line. It's got to be about how human beings work and how people contribute to society in general. Okay, so it's going to impact on the economy. Turning to social media, okay. Yeah, we live in a very distracted world through social media and mobile technology channels. And really, I'll mention this later on. It's been seen as an addiction because people are on it all the time. You walk into a restaurant, people are like that. People aren't talking anymore. Just on the radio, just this morning on Radio 4, they were talking about how how practices in terms of watching TV is no longer a shared family thing. Because of the ability of mobile devices, you can look at different things, different programs in different rooms of the house. This is like breaking up. This is breaking up our natural community spirit and natural ability to communicate and share something from the media. So again, social media, one of the things that social media does, it convinces us all that we're being sociable. And I think as human beings, we have developed as social animals because of the way we come into this world. Primarily, I suppose, because there's so much care required for an infant that, yes, we've got parents that need to care for that infant, and then a community that needs to support those parents. And so naturally, we will seek company. We're genetically wired almost healthily to seek company. And we don't have if we don't have that physical presence to tell us that we are enjoying a social moment, which is what we don't get from social media, we then get tricked into the fact we are sharing information, we're talking to each other, we're being sociable, but actually we're not being sociable. So maybe this will affect our mental health as well. So we live in a world as well where mindfulness, although it's ancient, it's very modern as well. Meditation and mindfulness and stress relief. It's been shown to improve focus and general awareness. And it's all about, again, it's about focus. It's about being able to step back and process events that happen, regardless of what they are. However, as we've said up here, social media and mobile devices is distracting us completely. We get stuff from over here, over here, over here. We've got so many different distractions, and we've got so many different media channels open to us all the time. Is that therefore impacting on our health? You know, are we not able to focus as well as we used to in this modern world? Okay, so yeah, that's quite an interesting paper there that actually looks at that. It looks at mindfulness and also the intrusion of technology and social media on the impact of mindfulness itself. Okay. Also, the mental diet. Oh, yeah, one more. This is one more. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so just. Oh, 10 minutes. Okay, sorry. All right. I mixed up the signals. It's that one for 1 minute, isn't it? Okay. All right. So the mental diet, which is sort of something that I'm sort of thinking about and developing here. We've got this idea of GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, that you're aware of. That computer systems are garbage in, garbage out devices. The brain would be a garbage in and garbage out device. So I'm talking about the streams of media, the streams of information that we're receiving all the time. That's going to affect what we put out? It's going to affect our behaviour. It's going to affect how we work. Okay, so we really need to look at what are we feeding our brains in terms of information, not just about its natural physical nutrition. Okay, so it's from multiple streams of information. Streams are not always nutritional. We need to sort of engage into research into healthy information diets. What is optimally healthy for a human being? So I've got this idea of introducing hi-ho, not to be confused with the Seven Dwarves. Okay. So the idea of hi-ho is I'll just put it together: healthy in, healthy out. Simple. So yeah, it's really a philosophy that will bring in the idea of finding healthy information streams, also using digital technology in a healthy way, so that we are, so that hopefully digital technology can be more ethical. Because this ethics, really, we're putting stuff out there. It's not like we're trying to be unethical. We're not all supervillains coming up with technology and going, ha-ha, use that, and then ruining the whole of society. But what we're doing is we're perhaps unaware of what we're putting out there. We're putting stuff out there that people are being negatively affected by all the time, and we don't even know perhaps that it's happening. It's starting to be noticed now with the iPhone addiction and the social media addiction and the AI coming in. So, particularly with the AI needs to be working in conjunction with human beings, not in terms of the bottom lines driven replacement. So, ways of addressing the problems. Create new interventions for the education of younger people for responsible usage. Okay, so that's something that it needs to start with the younger generation. It needs to start with education. New protocols for new technology and existing technology. How are they going to be used? How are they disseminated? How can we rewrite stuff that is healthier in this sense? Evaluate new innovations in terms of their usefulness for healthy moves forwards. Perhaps something, there needs to be a standard, a kite mark or something like that, where something that is developed for a particular purpose, there are criteria that we can measure that against so that negative effects are minimized. It would be good to look into that. And develop an ethics arm of a digital innovation group or area of interest, area of academic interest, really, within this university, really, because we're all there. We're all developing stuff. We're all academics and working on our own particular areas. But certainly, it's something that we need to look at. I think, because AI is where development is going to go. Social media, it's all out there. It's all developing all the time. So certainly, that needs to be policed in the soft sense, perhaps. Okay, and research into, although there's lots of research in how human beings engage with technology already exists, from this angle, it needs to be looked at in a more serious way. And there you go. 1 minute early, apparently.
Come on.